No Excuse: The Power of Self-Discipline, written by a New York Times bestseller author Brian Tracy. Part 28, Chapter 19, Self-Discipline and Children. Right discipline exact not in internal comparison, but it's in habits of mind which lead essentially desirable rather than undesirable activities. Said by Brett Rain Russell. You can calculate the value of importance of something you do by measuring the possible consequences of doing or not doing it. Something that is important is something that has significant potential consequences, like jumping out the path of a speeding car. Bringing children into the world has consequences that can go on for 80 years, which is the average life of expectancy of a person today, and beyond into the lives of your grandchildren and great children. This is a way become a person is one of the most important things you will ever do. As an adult, you are still affected today by things that your grandparents did or did not do or for your parents. The way you treat your children is smoothly influenced by the way your parents tolerate you. It has consequences that cast down as great lengths, and it has immense influence on their lifelong happiness and well-being. Your greatest responsibility when you have a child, a high level of self-discipline is essential in order to fulfill your commitment and deliver your responsibility. The day your first child is born, you have taken on a minimum 20-year commitment to do everything possible to release your child as a happy, healthy, and self-confident adult. At every stage of your child's life, your words, actions, notifications, and behaviors are shaping and influence the right child and determining how he or she will turn out as an adult. The greatest need that a child has is for an unbroken flow of unconditional life and acceptance from his or her parents. Children need love almost as much as they need oxygen. The amount of love that a child receives, especially in his her formative years, in the critical determinant of how healthy and happy to or she becomes as an adult. How children spell love. How does a child spell love? Time children determine how valuable and important they are and develop their self-esteem and self-worth by measuring the amount of the time that the most important people in their lives spend with them when they are doing or young. There's no substructure for time. The once gone, you cannot make it up. Perhaps the greatest result reported by parents is that I did not spend your time with my child when he or she was young. When you become a parent, you must discipline yourself and organize your life so you can spend ample time with your child throughout his or her growing years. You must discipline yourself to cut back, reduce down noise, and eliminate other activities that prevent you from being an excellent person. A wake-up call. Some years ago, a good friend of mine got married. He was an avid golfer and we regularly played golf lifetime a week, often flying south of the winter and golf vacations within his local golf clubs were carved with show. Within 4 years of marrying, he and his wife and her children, not the less, he is still tired to play golf several times a week, tasking time off his business during the week and playing the finally. His wife comforted him for it told him that told he's not spending your time with these young children. His golf was taking up too many hours. They wish be better spent at home. They are with children, especially during the most vulnerable sensitive years. He suddenly realized that is life and he changed. The things that he could be when he was struggle were no longer possible when he had young children. Healthy, responsible, and self-disciplined, he immediately cut back his goal to once per week and relentless has time and energy into his family. He told me later that is made an extraordinary difference on his marriage and on his relationships with his young children. String new properties. When you get married, your life goes through a major step. Your lifestyle changes, many of your common activities lose their importance and urgency. When your first child is born, your life shifts again. You often feel as if the first stage of your life. Your youth has dropped out of like the first stage of a rocket and you are now and a different in life. In fact, it's not uncommon for couples to change their lives and completely when the first child is born. Cut back or determine many of their previous social activities. They stop drinking and drinking with friends and they stop going out, especially the weekends. They begin to build a different life together around their home and children. The children become the focus on their time and attention. The children become the primary subject on their conversations. Responsible present parents approach children and the most important part of their lives. They plan and organize their time and activities so they can fulfill this responsibility at a highest level. Long time thinking. Children force you to think long term when you realize that everything that you do or fail to do with your children and their formative years will have a long-lasting impact and generations to come. You become far more truthful and sensitive to the things and you say and the way treat them. When you are young and single, you cannot let it all hang out. You can blow off, get an agency, express your feeling fully and be your own person. But when you have a child, you need to impose and high level of discipline and self-control on yourself. Children are hypersensitive to influence of their presence during their formative years. They see and experience is world and reflection on their parents and they incorporate those words and actions into their words, view and self-image. In almost every case when you see dysfunctional adult, you can trace it back a dysfunctional parenting when you dad from the adult a child. Their parents are dead set all things of them that hurt them, confused them, stirred them, and created within them feeling of insecurity, anger, and infancy. The greatest gift in is love. The greatest gift you can give children is to let them know that you love them 100% of the time and that your love from never changes. No matter what happens, there is no greater blessing for children than to know with complete confidence the almost important people in their life. Their parents love them completely and accept them totally, no matter what they do or what mistake they make. Children are not little adults. They do or not have the ability to make a good judgment about the right or wrong things to do. It takes them many years of trial and error and something better experience to develop wisdom and judgment that enable them to make a good decisions of themselves and their futures. The kindest way to treat your children when they make mistake is to relieve with the calmness and compassion and they help them to learn, listen, continue the problem or differentiate. Discipline brains are development. Many parents think that their job is to discipline their children by praising them when they make a mistake. Back in the 1930s, when my parents were growing up, it was generally thought that the job is a parent was the break, the wall, and the child. This philosophy led to generation of broken children was parents felt that it was their duty of to mind and that space them into little people that their parents found to be acceptable. But the fact is that each child is unique and different from the other people from the world. Each child comes into this world with his or her unique temperament, personality, and natural learnings toward different interests and activities. Parents are often amazed to see that each of their children is very different from each other child, even though they came from the same parents and grow up in their same household. In my experience, each child machines of the bait of different demeanors. No matter what you do to or from them, they have their own special density. They are going to grow up with a particular personality and they will be attracted with the particular people and activities. Your main job is to create an environment when was feel safe and confident youth to follow their inner promises and personal intentions. Question your beliefs. A philosopher once said, before I hate children, I hate four philosophers about raising children. Now I have four children and no philosophies. Each child is different from any other child, from any other person. When raising your children, be prepared to question your most cherished beliefs and what they should not do, say, or be. Above all, be patient and admit that will be worrying because you are going to make more mistakes than you can imagine. Feel the most important responsibility you have as a parent is to innocent values or innocent. Essentially, the value of self-discipline. One of the most common desires that persons have for the children is to raise them with a sense of self-responsibility and self-control. Parents want their children to be self-disciplined and practice self-mystery and self-control or the ability or delay generation. Set a good example. Albert Swiss once write, you must take men at a school of example, for they will learn at no other. The most powerful influence you have on your children is the example that you set from the all of the time that they are growing up. Your children are always watching you out of the corners of their eyes from the another room. They take everything in. They measure and analyze your behaviors, especially when you are under stress, by watching you behaves, especially when you are angry with upset or when they have to made a mistake that develop a clear picture and themselves to how audits and surprised to behaves in the world. Your example sets is should understand that it is considered to be the normal way and the adults act in various essentially when you under stress. Your children, if they anywhere they expect your example, will step and eliminate you while they growing up and countering from the rest of their lives. Perhaps the best question you can ask yourself over is, what kind of family would your family be? Everyone is right, just like me. Be a role model. When you practice self-discipline and self-control, essentially when you feel angry or upset, your children absorb the lesson learned when they are angry or upset. They will practice self-discipline and self-control as well. In a recent study, researchers conclude that children from their idea of the world by watching how their mother deals with the ups and downs of daily life. In their mother seems calm, relaxed, and in control. Children assume that this is logical and renewal of what so they must and likely the practice calmness and self-control themselves. In their mother seems to be frustrated, angry, and overwhelmed by too much do too little time. Children absorb the world view that is life confused and stressful. Building character. The most important job you have as a parent is to instill values and to build character in your children. You do this the teaching them what values are important, especially those of the integrity and them truth telling. You set yourself up as a role model and determine values of what your children to have in every station where those values are called for. Because the core value of character is legally the most important value that is instilled in your children, and the truthfulness must and to stake and most parents children lie when they are growing up. They don't tell the truth, they tell both little and big lies. Often this comes as a surprise to parents who feel that somehow they must have failed their children in some way. Lying is a normal part of childhood. It is a form a communication that children are trying out you to see if they works. If children find that telling lies and effective ways to get things that the word quickly and easily, they will be lie on regular basis. For example, I once asked my son a miracle a question, and he had me and answered that the no I was completely untrue. I asked him, Misail, why did you say that? You know that is a proposed lie? Misail, who was 10 years old at the time, answered suddenly, well, I just thought I don't give it a try. Children will be lying or for seeing that it works. It does not they will try something else and that something else is unusually telling the truth. Always tell the truth. One day my wife and I read a question in a book on child raising. We said if your children lie to you, who has made them effort to tell the truth? That was a real eye opener for us. We immediately sat down and with our children and told them from the now always tell the truth. We promise that we never get into trouble telling truth, and if you tell the lie, we will upset and will be praised, but our truth will be always be okay with us. From that day honored, with a few examples, our children treat us out with the truth over the time. They get out into the habit of telling the truth. And no matter what it was, we keep it out promise and we never praise our children for telling the truth. One day, as we were still around for the family dinner and travel, all the children was talking about the finished who had told him to lie about something he was planning to do. My son said, I told him that I never lie to my parents. His friend said, everyone lies to their parents. My son replied, I never lie to my parents because I don't have to. I can always tell them the truth and everything will be okay. Our children listened to this and they all agreed. They told us that was a great family because they never had to lie their parents. The foundation of self-confidence. When children tell the truth, they grow up strength with strong, with the highest self-esteem and self-levels of self-confidence. They have higher levels of self-respect and personal pride. They look you straight in the eye and tell exactly what they are thinking and feeling, and they are very different from children who must continuously lie to or shy or the truth in order to get things past their parents. In raising your children, there will be countless times when they will do or say something which you disapprove or which what makes you angry. During things times, you must discipline yourself to think before you act or resist controlling yourself and your timer. You must remind yourself that a master to moment of such stress and is rested the recorded by your child. You can have an effort his her includes peered and into the faces. Children learn values by teaching an example given to them respectively which they are growing up. When you teach them values and personally practice the values to love, especially for your surprise and competition for those who are less fortunate, generally the most of is read needed. Practice when is record telephones of the different viewpoints, senses as for the difference and fields. The phase of setbacks, your children will adapt those behaviors at none. They will see them as appreciative way. Its response, the kids of solution they grow up. The power of forgiveness. Also, the most important of all values that you teach and teach children is forgiveness. The incredibly the forgive lie, the root of the most negative emotions. When you practice forgiveness, when you really let's get your children grew up with the attitude, the forgivable, the sense of your unhappiness is the result someone hinting from the same way I was always happy. Teaching your children is never ending. Developing proper values and teaching proper conclude to your children is a lifelong job. You cannot give a single lecture on the truthfulness and comes on the way forget about it. You must repeat the lesson by decisions, for example, over the over and after year, all the time while your children are with you. A little to miss the minors, the parent asks, how long does it take to teach my children travel manners? No matter what I say, it is strange that my children still eat in unmixed and desert away Miss Manners respond by saying, the parent it takes after 10 years of console, reason to take the children that all manners are the what even them. There are no generations they will be successful. Be their role model. Of course, if you want to children to live in a certain way, you must model the method behaves the continuously after year. The you want your children to disease properly, you must dress properly. If you want your children groom themselves properly, you must groom yourself properly as well. If you want your children to be organized and efficient, you must show them the way to be bring organize them different, efficient yourself. Remember each day that your children are going to behave the way that it believes the most rest of their lives. When you think like this process in proper higher levels of self-discipline and self-control, growing know that the concepts that behaves and growing effective children senses in all many years from now. The difference of raising children is so that it grow up with a high self-esteem, being positive and confident and in themselves and their own values is one of the most important things you ever do. The results of your children will last you the years of your life. I invite to you listen to the next chapter of this book. Thanks for listening.